Welcome back, it's Tomahawk here, and today we are on the 9.9 test server. This second round has brought a new tank, the KanonenJagdpanzer. Basically, this is a 1950s, 1960s tank based on the old concept of the German tank destroyer, and has been added as a full replacement of this beast here, the Jagdtiger 8.8, which has limited matchmaking. So eventually this big guy will leave the game and get replaced by this one, and the model looks awesome. Just for you gun peeps out there, this is not an MG42, this is an MG3, which is a replacement as the general purpose machine gun of the German Bundeswehr. The only thing that's missing on this vehicle is, in my opinion, the NATO camouflage pattern, because we can only check out these Wehrmacht camouflage patterns, not the Bundeswehr and the standardized NATO camo pattern. So, coming back to the team, because I'm drifting off a little bit, this has only a 4 man crew, or ladies in my case. And this Jagdtiger has 8, so that makes it a better crew trainer, and include the premium matchmaking this guy has. Yeah, this has the long Tiger gun on it, the L71, which has a 203 average penetration, 240 average damage. So let's see how that compares to this gun, the 90mm Rheinmetall DM1. So let's just pick these guns apart. You see the penetration is actually better on the KanonenJagdpanzer with the same average damage. However, the dispersion is a bit worse, from 0.31, which is ridiculous on the Jagdtiger, to 0.35 on the Rheinmetall. KanonenJagdpanzer. So, aiming time is exactly the same. Like I said, the only downside on this KanonenJagdpanzer is it will face tier 10 eventually. So, worst crew trainer, no premium matchmaking is what we can already conclude. So what else is there? We have a 500 horsepower engine. We have a 44 degrees traverse speed. Yeah, and the radio 750 signal range is pretty decent. And again, this gun. Rate of fire 9.52. That's nice. That's good. How does this compare to other tanks, like, for instance, the E25? This is quite a valid way to go to start comparing these tanks, and you see KanonenJagdpanzer is a bit larger. However, it's pretty low profile, and I guess it will have quite a good camo factor. Looking at the armor of this thing, it's only a 30mm on the front, 30mm on the side, and a terrible 8 on the back. Comparing this to, for instance, a Hetzer has better armor than this thing. If you're gonna meet a KV2 with this thing, just freaking avoid it, because it's gonna wreck you. This thing has 1200 hit points, which is a bit less than the 1300 on this Jagdtiger, plus the Jagdtiger has way better armor, but this thing is having a better mobility and better camouflage, so that's a little compensation for you right there. What I'm going to do now is, for instance, quickly check this on the traverse speed of the E25. If you know the E25, it has a 44 degrees traverse speed, as well as this guy here, weighing 26 tons, with the equipment I have on here: a rammer, a camouflage net, and binocular telescope. So I'm gonna run this guy on the normal configuration I always have, so standard repair kit, standard med kit, standard extinguisher, an amount of heat shells, 36 APs and 5 HCs for in case I encounter an artillery piece. Before you mention, is this the same gun as on the RU-251? Let's have a quick check. This is the same chassis after all. Here we have it. Yes, please. Yes, it is, but it has a buff on its penetration, which is a very welcome addition to this tank because it doesn't have the turret. So that's a little compensation for me right there. So after all, terrible armor, pretty decent mobility probably, and the gun should be doing okay, at least at tier 8 and probably tier 9, but I can see it might struggle against tier 10. Then again, you have your mobility and your camo factor to compensate for this. So, very quick overview for this guy. Let's have some gameplay, and this will actually be my first battle in this, so brace for impact. So here we are, pretty terrible matchup. This is actually not my first game, as I said, but my fourth. It has been horrendously bad. We have lost 3 times in a row, and the Russians are dying like crazy pigs, basically. Team damage, pushing you in front of enemies, rushing in like idiots, losing 15-2, and that's pretty much it. And of course, not to forget, everyone is shooting premium. So here we start with a new battle. Few things that directly come to my attention is the reload of 5.32, and that's really good for a tank of this caliber, especially when you consider the gun that this thing has with 212 penetration, which should be really enough to start doing some damage against tier 8s and 9s. But I'm unlucky and encountered a couple of tricky heavy tanks and heavily armored targets. You can also see it fares pretty well in terms of speed, doing 56 on a mix of road and snow. And I'm getting into position and to do something about this bulldog. Park up behind the bushes, start my zooming, and you can see that gun traverse is actually quite nice. Park it on the handbrake, show you left to right how far this gun can go. Depression also quite okay, so a pro for the KanonenJagdpanzer right there. I take a shot and it flies very high. Take another one, and what comes to my attention is that the shells are really flying in a little curve, going high first and then going down, and the travel time of those shells is pretty long. That's something to get used to. Still have to master that. So let's start doing something about this game, because I'm not doing anything right now. And I see the Jagdpanzer E100, hope to get a flank shot on him if we can just keep him busy for the time being. As you see, my fellow companions in the enemy team driving the KanonenJagdpanzers are in the same boat and start dying instantly. Hopefully this phase will be spared, and there is the other KanonenJagdpanzer who passes away there. So, bushes right there, see the E100 take a normal shot with a regular AP, probably 8 base spaced armor, and now this gun is never gonna penetrate. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to take out his tracks and let my team do all the support, but even there it says I'm doing a critical hit, but I probably only shoot his tracks yellow. But here this is a success and he gets shot. So I want to take a normal shot at his side just to see if it penetrates, but no, even though the indicator is green. Try to track him again, and I switch to heat shells now because yeah, it's not working right now. You see the accuracy is not as good as on the Jagdtiger 88. That one would have pretty much probably shot his tracks. Again I shoot his tracks yellow. I miss completely this time. And he gets tracked by someone else. My heat shell flies in right there. Switch back to AP. And I track his other track. And now I decide to go for some glory because I'm not going to be able to do anything about him. And he seems to be pretty alone there. So I'm gonna rush in just to show you some mobility. T92, hopefully not interested in me, and yeah, Panzer E100 is passing his shot and missing. I was just trying to lure him out right there, and now I have enough to take him out, but he gets taken out by the object 140. So next objective, T92. Did you see, by the way, how late I got spotted when I was YOLOing on that E100? I load back to HE, start doing something about this T92, and I am able to outrun him in combination with my speed and my traverse, but I won't be able to turn into him. And I let the bulldog pass me to take him out. So next up is the object 261. Oh, there he is. Zoom, zoom, zoom. He's going for me. Try to hit his weak spot. Do some nice damage. 350 with the HE shell. Switching back to HE, I get shot in the track by an IS-6 from a distance. Lucky me. Reload back to AP. Get into cover and try to get the next shot. Aim, aim, aim. Shooting, and it flies exactly where I want it to be, and it penetrates. Nice one. Thank you, Mr. STB, for completely blocking my vision. It's highly appreciated. And this game is basically too easy. I'm just a tier 8 and I won't be able to make the difference, and that's what you see. It's not so much you can do in the test server at the moment. So here we have the post-game battle results. You can see it's not perfect by far. It is a tier 10 battle, and the matchup was quite tough on us. So what did I do? 831 damage, 684 base experience, granting me a win of 21k, even after shooting quite a couple of heat rounds. You can pretty much see what this tank is capable of doing. Its struggles against tier 10s, I can basically just go for tracks, or if you decide to go really aggressive as I did on the Jagdpanzer E100, just using my mobility to lure his shot and dodge it. But you saw that the traverse speed was not enough to start battling with this T92, so I just passed him by and let my team take him. I do think this tank will fare really much better in tier 9 and tier 8 battles, and therefore you have enough penetration. As you can see, I just penetrated that IS-6 from the front when he had angled his armor towards me in a very nice way. I do think I will pick one of these up just to, well, I'm basically a German tank fan here, also just to train my crew, and it seems like a lot of fun. It reminds me a bit of the E25 with a high rate of fire and a good camo factor, and if you really need to, you can still YOLO towards your objective like I did on that Jagdpanzer E100. So, hope you like it. Please like, subscribe and comment, as I like to improve, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!